2 weeks on the road, looking to win their second home game here at BMO Field, up against the Ottawa REDBLACKS in a first-place showdown in the East of the CFL on TSN. It wasn't the start at home they wanted. A sound thrashing at the hands of the Ticats ruined their home opener. But 2 impressive road wins since, and the Argos are feeling good about themselves as they head back to BMO.
Harris goes deep. He's got his man. He's got a touchdown. Just like that.
Ottawa's off to its own sizzling start with 2 road wins of their own and points in each of their first 3 games. It's an early season Eastern first-place showdown. The REDBLACKS take on the Argos from Toronto, and it's next. Talked a lot about Trevor Harris, Matty. Pretty big one for Ricky Ray.
Absolutely. He's all about composure and getting the job done. Sometimes it's not pretty, but the guy just wins. 102 career wins already.
As I said earlier, though, that's the old guard. How about the new guard? Trevor Harris is here to make a statement. He's owed to making a statement all year long, but he said he made it last year when going 9-7 and leading these Argos. Now he's back for a little redemption.
This game is for bragging.
The opening kickoff is coming up.
Welcome to Ottawa, Trevor Harris. That will put Ricky Ray over 53,000 yards.
Chris Williams blazes to the end zone once more.
July, a nice Wednesday night. In the debut 3 weeks ago, the Argos lost badly to Hamilton, looking to make amends against the only unbeaten team left in the Canadian Football League, the 2-0-1 Ottawa REDBLACKS. As week 4 begins on this Wednesday night. Hi and welcome to the CFL on TSN. Rod Smith along with a panel of Jock Climie, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stegall. What do you watch for in this game tonight?
Yeah, a couple of things. You know, for Ottawa, I think they had 3 glorious opportunities to go undefeated this year. They're still undefeated, but they had a chance for a win and just squandered 3 opportunities late in that football game. They needed to overcome that. And for Toronto, after a stinker at home, they win 2 on the road. They do not want to lose this game and show their fans that they can't win in the new digs. Big game for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, I want to see how these Argonauts, their defense plays Chris Williams. If I'm Rich Stewart, I'm not going to allow Chris Williams to get going. I know he doesn't like to double team or add pressure to another receiver, but Chris Williams has been lighting it up. I'm going to allow those other receivers and see what they can do. I'm not going to let Chris Williams beat me because he can beat you by himself if need be.
A lot of talk about these quarterbacks. Trevor Harris has got to be patient, fellas. Rich Stuber's defense does not allow typically big plays down the field. He's going to test his patience. Can Toronto get to his head and make him impatient? Ricky Ray steps that line of scrimmage like they did last week. A good balance of Brandon Whitaker out of the backfield and running the football, I think bodes well for any quarterback, particularly one that's been in the league as long as Ricky Ray has.
Yeah, big night for Ray, big night for Harris. Could be a big night for Carl Walker of Edmonton. You could win the ultimate $25,000 home theater package from Visions Electronics if a kickoff is returned for a touchdown in this game thanks to Safeway Sobeys touchdown to win promotion. And if it happens again, you can also win $1 million. Good luck, Carl. Off to Rod Black and Dwayne Ford.
All right, thank you so much, Rod Smith, and hello, Canada. What a sweltering hot summer night in Toronto tonight. Not too far from the CN Tower near Lake Ontario. BMO Field, second ever home game for the Toronto Argonauts tonight against the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
And a big matchup. This is one, obviously, with 2 teams competing for first place in the CFL's East Division. But for some, a showdown between 2 quarterbacks, former teammates. Trevor Harris, who started the majority of the Argos games last season and led the CFL in touchdown passes given that opportunity. Of course, the man he was replacing returns this year. Ricky Ray back at the helm of the Toronto Argonauts and on the verge of yet another career milestone.
Well, Scott Milanovich and Ricky Ray, and of course Scott Milanovich worked with Trevor Harris last year, and a very interesting night to have Ricky Ray and Trevor Harris on the same field against each other, not on the same sideline. And there's Rick Campbell and his Ottawa Red Blacks coming off a tie. They kissed their sister last week.
Oh, a tie that may have felt a lot like a loss for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Plenty of opportunities for them to put that football game away and just couldn't do it. You remember last season, of course, the ability to win close games became a hallmark of this football team, and they'll be looking to get back on track in that regard tonight.
Argos will kick off from the south side to the north end. Very busy time here around this area. Exhibition place. They have the Indy race going on, so there's basically a lockdown around the stadium, which gets underway the next couple of days. They've got a concert across the street at the amphitheater. But we got football here tonight. Tristan Jackson, second game with the Red Blacks, is back. Lirim Hajrullahu is going to kick this off. Argos have owned the Red Blacks, except for the first time they ever met. Ottawa beat Toronto and have not won since then. Here we go in Toronto tonight at BMO, and Lirim Hajrullahu puts it all the way through. And there's a heavy wind coming off the lake, so we'll watch that tonight. No points on the board because nobody touched it. Here comes the former Argo, Trevor Harris.
Yeah, Trevor Harris has been instant offense for these Ottawa Red Blacks, and certainly looking to get off to another terrific start against his former team here tonight. You see the numbers. It's the guy completing 70% of his passes, completed 71% a year ago. 9 touchdown passes already, and of course Chris Williams has been his go-to guy.
Trevor Harris, what an efficiency rate for this guy right now. In shotgun, we'll hand it off to Nick Grigsby, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat, Winnipeg Blue Bomber, and fumbled the football on the goal line and might have been the knockout blow last week against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, and you mentioned Nick Grigsby making his second start after William Powell and Trayvon Van both went down. Talk about this receiving core. Williams has the huge numbers. Brad Sinopoli being overshadowed a little bit despite 20 catches for him in just 3 games. There's that offensive line becoming a veteran group anchored by left tackle Sir Vincent Rogers.
Harris near side. And Chris Williams, who is at an incredible pace. That's all we can say right now. He is red hot.
Yeah, no question. You'll get a look at the protection here. Grigsby helping out on the defensive end as they find Williams. Matty alluded to it prior to the game. The speed that Chris Williams possesses isn't just a benefit in terms of the deep ball, but it creates a cushion that'll give him room to catch the short passes as well.
Out of the backfield is Nick Grigsby. Able to hang on there. Let's take a look at the starting D for the Toronto Argonauts. This is an area with a number of changes, but Ricky Foley is back once more.
Yeah, Foley and Hickman on the edges. We'll see Sean Lemon as well. You look at this linebacking core, an experienced group. Brandon Isaac, Keon Raymond flanking Corey Greenwood in that group. Some juggling in the secondary throughout this season. TJ Heath and Isaiah Green will start at the halfback spots tonight.
Second down now, Williams puts his head down and goes forward. The Argos are arguing on the spot here. Looks like they're going to spot it near the 45-yard line. And it's a 3-yard gain, but it'll be third down, and it's a long yard, almost 1.5 yards. So the Red Blacks will kick the football back to Toronto.
A great look at the cross motion from Chris Williams. Nice cut there in front of Justin Hickman. You can see right here, I think the decision making from an Ottawa perspective. Again, a long yard, and we know the 3rd and 1s have not been a gimme in the CFL this year. Trying to play a little bit for field position, knowing that the wind is against them to start this game.
Yeah, it's a big wind. You saw it affect that kick. Larry Taylor, veteran. No yards will be on the play. We're underway tonight in Toronto. There he is, Ricky Ray. 53K Ricky Ray. And counting. Argos have the ball when we come back to T-Dot. There is Ricky Ray. Back healthy again. We chatted with him yesterday. Says the arm feels great right now and close to passing another milestone.
Yeah, there you see the numbers, needing just 19 yards to pass Danny McManus for 4th all time in CFL passing yards.
Moving up on the Argos list, of course. Ray passing right away, as you would expect. Tight spiral far side. Andre Dury has only played half a dozen games the last couple of seasons because of injury. So good to have him back for the Argos.
Also good to have Brandon Whitaker coming off a strong performance last week in Vancouver. The receiving corps, Hazelton and Gurley, remain from their big three last season, but of course some injuries have opened the door for Bates and Shaw. The offensive line, welcome free agent signees Corey Watman and Josh Park.
There's Brandon Whitaker, the former Montreal Alouette, who came over last year, of course. Former Baylor Bear. So it'll be a throwing down again for Ricky Ray.
This defensive line has been intact over the last couple weeks, starting the three Canadians in Williams, Evans, and Gascon-Nadon. Damaso Munoz in the middle of that linebacking core. We'll keep an eye on Antoine Pruneau in coverage, frequently matching up on the number 3 receiver. Couple changes in the secondary. Emone Claiborne and the veteran Tristan Jackson in that secondary this week.
Ray pitching it out to Whitaker. Wearing number 3 now. And Ricky Ray has just passed our buddy Danny Mac. And there he is, Danny McManus, watching tonight. Rare night off for Danny Mac.
Yeah, getting ready to head out on the NFL scouting tour. Danny, of course, now employed in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers front office.
Bringing his kids tonight. I don't know how much scouting is going to get done over there. Assistant general manager in Winnipeg and director of U.S. scouting. Ricky Ray passes him on the all-time list. Danny McManus, of course, a Hall of Famer. Haralahu trying to punt it to that coffin corner. Does a nice job. And they are going to spot this near the 15-yard line. Well, the master just at it. The apprentice the last couple of seasons. At it next. Trevor Harris's return to Toronto as a Red Black continues in a moment. On TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Windy night tonight, but it's a hot one. Hot, sticky one tonight in Toronto. 35 degrees Celsius with the humidity around 37 degrees Celsius and the wind blowing from the lake. Right to left on your screen. Ernest Jackson collects it up near the 25-yard line. And as we talked about, Trevor Harris last couple of seasons, and of course was a savior last year for the Argos when Ricky Ray went down.
Yeah, and Harris, a guy who is certainly well liked and well respected in Toronto. We know he's quickly endeared himself, of course, to his teammates in Ottawa. There's a big moment. Two guys used to room together on the road, Ricky Ray and Trevor Harris. They arrived in Toronto together in that quarterback meeting room in 2012. A lot of time spent together.
Jackson again. Well, the percentage between the two of them together is off the charts, near 80%.
Yeah, remarkable. Both these guys in terms of that accuracy. See Trevor Harris connect on another one, finding Ernest Jackson a couple of times early in this ball game.
Jackson, who played his college ball not too far from here in Buffalo. Ernest Jackson has to get that lid on. Still putting his helmet on in the backfield. In fact, he doesn't have it on. There's a penalty flag.
There's a flag for exactly that reason.
There's something wrong with his helmet. He can't get the helmet on.
Well,
and that was really strange. Play was blown in.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of a missed opportunity here, as there's been some talk this season about the eye in the sky official, and part of that role being identifying a player in distress. I mean, this isn't a guy in physical distress, but you know there's going to be a flag, but for him not having his helmet on during play. And my feeling, honestly, is rather than him being flagged for not having his helmet on, that someone should have identified this and should have stopped the play.
Well, at the same time, Ernest Jackson can't get his helmet on. Wouldn't you, if you couldn't get your helmet on, run to the sideline and understand my helmet's not, I can't get it on here.
Well, it's in the cadence, though.
In the cadence,
I mean, by the time he realizes that he's not going to get it done in time, you see him kind of look up, almost surprised. Yeah.
That was a bizarre moment in an early season full of them. Harris now, 1st and 20. High percentage continues. Trevor Harris in Ottawa, where they have to call the fire department to try to put out the fire right now. The guy's absolutely red hot, but this is what he did in Toronto last season.
Yeah, and it's that completion percentage that really stands out, 71%. Outstanding year, held down that starting job as Ricky Ray was out until the final couple weeks of the season.
30-year-old from Waldo, Ohio. Over the top for Greg Ellingson. And one thing for Trevor Harris coming to Ottawa, just like he had in Toronto, he's got a treasure chest of receivers here. A lot of weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the group in Toronto last year, as they, much like Ottawa in 2015, had an influx of new talent at that position. You saw Kevin Elliott, Vidal Hazelton, Torrey Gurley, Deontay Spencer all arriving as rookies last season. Kenny Shaw and Phil Bates were starting tonight, also part of that first-year class.
Oh, very close to being blocked. Larry Taylor, no yards. That'll be a 15-yarder. 31-yard kick against the wind. Good field position for the Argos when we come back to Toronto. All-time passing leaders in CFL history.
Yeah, and very impressive company there. Of course, and you know, Ricky, ever self-effacing, joked about how much longer he'd have to play to catch up to Anthony Calvillo for first on that list. So there you see the man that he just leapfrogged. Danny sporting his college colors, that Florida State t-shirt tonight.
Seminole that he was. Great one that he was. Great CFL quarterback. After that no yards call near the midfield stripe, Brandon Whitaker's throwing. And just short. Little razzle-dazzle for the Argos.
You're going to see Brandon Whitaker take that toss out to the right on this one. Keep an eye. Shaw gets open deep on this route, but Whitaker just didn't quite have enough on it. You'll see the DB comes up and run support. Nice job by Shaw faking that he's going to stock block him. Just not quite enough on that throw.
So Brandon Whitaker trying to get his percentage up. Now 0 for 1. Ray stands in. Over the top. Whitaker now. Cuts back. First down. Down near the 35. Big gain and some extra. Whitaker goes to the sideline. He's down. And there was an unnecessary roughness call as he was thrown out of bounds.
Well, Blackie, on this one, you're really going to see the linebackers bail out of here. They're going to provide some depth because of the way they get out. It's going to leave a lot of room in that first level. See how deep they are. So when Brandon Whitaker comes out, there's no one within 10 yards of him when he catches that football. So a great opportunity for him to turn that into positive yards after the catch.
Antoine Pruneau, the penalty, takes the ball inside the red zone. We'll get an update on Brandon Whitaker. Matthew Shinetti on the sideline with us tonight. Ray now in the red zone. Looking near the end zone. Hauled in. Vidal Hazelton. Another first down, and the Argos will go 1st and goal.
The Argos went to a tight end formation there using the fullback. Alexandre Dupuis, he's on the right side as well. They kept a slot in there to max protect. 7 men in the box for the Argos in that protection scheme. You could see the time that Ricky Ray had to allow that route to slowly develop.
Anthony Coombs in the backfield for Whitaker. Ray clears out that backfield. Ricky looking end zone. And Wallace Miles, the former Red Black, with a penalty flag on that corner route. And could be an interference call over there on that far side. Tristan Jackson playing on the corner tonight. Forrest Hightower out of the lineup, so Jackson Signed last week, comes in this week.
Receiver, Ottawa number 38. After distance to goal line, automatic first down.
Jackson just getting up to speed with his Ottawa defense as well.
Yeah, basically came in last week to help out in the return game, but quickly pressed into action in the secondary. You see the free man defensive end, Arnaud Gascon-Nadon, comes loose on this one. I think a little bit of a bust on the offensive line as they had two guys on the D tackle.
Whitaker's back in, but this is an easy touchdown. How about that? Ricky Ray, only perfect so far.
5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Nice bit of misdirection here. You'll see play action showing to the left. Ricky Ray, that quick turn. It looks like Bates is just going to have the slush block as the slot on the backside, but he slips out into the flat for an easy TD.
Phil Bates hauls it in. There was a call, but first and goal again for the Argos. Penalty against Toronto. Ray throws, and Hazelton can't bring it in.
And a couple of guys getting hands on Ricky Ray in the backfield that time. Gascon-Nadon in there once again. Get a piece of the Argo quarterback. Gascon-Nadon, the former Laval Star and Hamilton Tiger Cat. Only player in CIS history to ever win the Metros Trophy. Is a top lineman in the country twice.
Argos taking another crack at this. Second down and goal. A flutter, and it's picked off. Penalty flag down. Brandon Sermons down the field, down the sideline. Finally out of bounds. So there's a flag in the end zone. Was that ball one-hopped? Sermons brought it in. Or was it Aston Whiteside?
Yeah, they had dropped off the defensive end, Aston Whiteside. He was the guy that made the diving attempt at that football. We'll see here whether he came up with it.
And there it is. Not so sure. Whiteside did a good job selling that.
Yeah, it looks like he got the hands underneath it, but the separation between his forearms, I think, allows the tip of that ball, as you can see, to touch down. I think pretty clear that this one will be ruled an incomplete pass.
So a lot of confusion here. Rick Campbell had the challenge flag out. Whiteside saying it's a catch. No, not so.
Receiver, Ottawa number 2. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So Milanovic had a point. Whiteside thought he was going to go for 6 points.
Keep an eye. I believe they called it on Jermaine Robinson in the back end. Definitely on the outside, though, on the corner. Matchup on the corner with wide receiver Vidal Hazelton.
So we've had a touchdown called back, an interception that was negated. Once more, Ricky Ray, and this time, no. Bates doesn't get in again.
A nice job in support there by the free safety, Jermaine Robinson. You'll see him starting off at depth, tracking his guy all the way across that formation, come up and make the play, and what a physical presence he's added to that Ottawa secondary this season.
Boy, they've been down here for a while now, the Argos. Second and goal. Ray now, flushed out. Whitaker, far side, will not get in. just when he looked like he had daylight. And now Tristan Jackson is hurt. Inside the 5-minute mark in the first quarter.
And to have the corner, Tristan Jackson, go down here creates some concerns, obviously, for the REDBLACKS. Jackson making his first start at corner. Jarrell Gavins is already out of the lineup. You saw him take the brunt of that shot from his own teammate, Moan Claiborne.
Jackson, a former Eskimo and Rough Rider. And again, called up by the REDBLACKS the last couple of weeks. They needed players, and they might need somebody to fill in for Jackson soon as well. Still scoreless.
Adrenaline. If it gets to me, I could rifle the ball 10 yards too far. But I've done this probably a million times. And there's one voice in my head. Mike, it says, man, don't worry about the emotions. Just do your job. Worry about what happens, when it happens, and most of all, just react.
Voice and pictures with Mike Riley. See more of that tomorrow. The Edmonton Eskimos, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And 4 games, 4 nights this week, week 4. Ticats in Montreal on Friday. The BC Lions in Regina on Saturday. Tristan Jackson, 3rd and goal for the Argos. They'll hand it off to Anthony Coombs, and he scores.
Well, going airborne. Looked like he had just enough to break the plane.
Third string quarterback Cody Fajardo comes in, and Coombs.
A great angle there, as you can see him across the plane of that goal line.
Okay, I see you.
Coombs, drafted primarily to play in the slot, but has seen plenty of action at his natural running back position so far here in 2016.
Anthony Coombs bouncing back from injuries, of course, and first touchdown since last year. How about Liram Hairelahu? The way he's bounced back, that's now 7 for 7 point afters this season.
Yeah, great start for him to go along with 11 of 12 on field goals thus far. Again, you see Anthony Coombs, University of Manitoba product, the number 3 overall pick back in 2014.
Well, it took a while for the Argos there, down in that zone.
Well, each team contributing a couple of penalties. A couple of almost big plays.
The Argos strike first. 7-0 here tonight in BMO Field. Battle of Ontario. Argos began the season at BMO Field with a loss against Hamilton, then went on the road out west. Got wins in Saskatchewan and BC. Couple of big wins out there and settling in, trying to get their first W in their new home.
Yeah, and I think perhaps for the Argos spending that week together as they stayed out west between the Saskatchewan and BC games, opportunity for this group to bond a little bit. Seemed to pay dividends for them on that road trip. We'll see if that carries over, as you said, now that they're back here at BMO.
With that heavy breeze last time, Hairelahu booted it through the end zone. Since nobody touched it, that meant there were no points. Another big booming kick. Chris Williams returning now with Jackson down. And there's a penalty flag. Trevor Harris getting ready to get it on again with more on his story. Let's go down to Matthew.
Absolutely, Rod. You know, everyone kind of figured that when Trevor Harris got to BMO Field, there would be a handshake with Scott Milanovich, but maybe don't be mistaken by that. There is a little bit of tension there because there was that contract dispute, and when Harris publicly lost his job, he had to face the media after Milanovich's decision. Now, Milanovich wouldn't revisit it yesterday, but Harris did go ahead and say that although he appreciated his time with Milanovich, he even appreciated more some of the mind games that Milanovich would play. In particular, that during practice when Harris would miss throws, Milanovich would go up to him and say, well, Zach Calero should make that throw. No, that was off the record information last year. Maybe a little indication that there's just a bit of tension there, guys.
Or maybe just trying to light a fire under him.
Well, and I think that's the way Harris looked at it based on our conversation yesterday. As he said, Scott pushed him to become a better player. I think he knew the kind of guy he was dealing with, and the toughness of Trevor Harris, well documented, certainly if you saw the pregame show. I think Scott Milanovich well aware of that, knowing that this was a guy that he could push a little bit to get the most out of him.
This guy is the epitome of toughness. What a great story in the pregame. Trevor Harris and his parents and all of the adversity they've had to go through, and his dad, one of those hard-nosed coaches, coached him up since he's been a boy. I'm sure they're watching tonight, so we say hello to the Harris family. Must be very proud of their son, who's doing great things north of the border. Enjoying a perfect night so far. 3 minutes to go, opening quarter. Wings it out. Jackson backfield. Close to a first down. Goes to show you too, pay attention to the CFL, to those second string and third string quarterbacks. It wasn't too long ago when we saw the name Trevor Harris. You know, all the great quarterbacks, you know, say, well, he was third on the depth chart or second. You get your chance, you make good on your chance, and he's made great.
It's a process. Developing quarterbacks, I'd say the same thing about developing offensive linemen. It takes time, an investment of time and energy.
There's the bomb. And trying to lay out for it was Ellingston. There's a penalty flag.
And now
Ellingston was battling just as much as the defender, A.J. Jefferson.
I'll tell you, I really only saw the tail end of the route once that ball was in the air.
Toronto number 23, first down at point of foul, automatic first down.
You'll see Jefferson gets hands on, but both those guys kind of hand fighting their way down the field.
They quickly line up. No challenge. Hand off Grigsby. I would think that Nick Grigsby has something to prove this week to the Ottawa REDBLACKS as well.
Yeah, tough fumble for Grigsby last week as they were marching down the field against Calgary in week 3 on their way to what looked like it was going to be the go-ahead touchdown late in that ball game, but there you saw it, ball popped loose.
Grigsby again trying to find some daylight. But he will move the sticks.
Slow to get up.
Well, Grigsby got a little nicked up last week as well. Keep in mind, this is a guy who hasn't exactly been playing a lot of football. He's been keeping in shape over the last year. Selling cars.
We'll just take a look at the tail end of that play. See if we can pick up where Grigsby got hurt.
Maybe that last shot right there. Right here. Harris now stepping up and is going down. Justin Hickman has his first sack as a Toronto Argonaut.
Oh, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat had a conversation with Justin Hickman yesterday, during which he raved about Coach Rich Stubler, his defensive coordinator, and how much he is enjoying playing for him. Says Stubler told them in the first meeting, defensive line can't be wrong. Justin said he just made a fast friend.
Harris, look out, down he goes again. Sean Lemon drops Trevor Harris.
Well,
what a pickup he is.
Got it first from one side, now from the other. Last time Hickman coming from Harris's left side. Here it's going to be Sean Lemon in his second game as an Argo, the former Red Black. Great spin move on Jake Silas.
Former Red Black, Stampeder, and Eskimo. And that moves them right out of field goal range. Should be the final play of this opening quarter. Zach Medeiros kicking it the other way, and it's spotted out near the 18-yard line. That's the final play of the first quarter. Just one touchdown, and that from Anthony Coombs. The Argo faithful like it.
Let's go, Red Blacks! Let's go,
Red Blacks fans in the house. Argos fans in the house. We're glad you're in your house. We'll be back. Some Wednesday Night Football continues in a moment. In the air tonight, not so much in the yardage department yet, but we could see some more here as the Argos and Red Blacks continue on. And as we continue on tonight, we also want to send our best out to one of our teammates, Chris Schultz, whose father passed away unfortunately this week.
Yeah, Schultz, he's missing obviously from our team for now. We certainly look forward to getting him back.
And our condolences to Chris and the entire Schultz family for the loss of their father. Of course, Schultz will be back with a precision playbook coming at halftime, and we want to send our best out to Chris. Ricky Ray from his 18 fires near sideline and hauled in by Wallace Miles. Wallace Miles, a former Ottawa Red Black, also played in Edmonton. Miles now with the Argos. 6-yard pickup.
Wallace Miles, something of a Milt Stiegel protege.
Ray again, same kind of pattern. Vidal Hazelton head on with Jonathan Rose on the corner. Has some words. First down, Argos.
Those two guys are already a couple rounds into their battle. Sparring out there, frequently matched up here tonight. Jonathan Rose, the first-year Red Black, playing that boundary corner position.
Ray now out of the pocket, rolling near sideline for Kenny Shaw. Speaking of Seminoles, we talked about Florida State earlier. Kenny Shaw played there.
Well, Shaw did a nice job on the scramble. You're going to see the two receivers cross and switch roles. He takes off upfield as Ricky Ray's on the scramble. He works back. It times out perfectly on the throw behind. Pushing upfield here. DB overruns it, and there's the ball.
First and 10 again. Ray now stays in the pocket. Hums one over the middle again to Shaw. Oh, it's going to be about a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards short of a first down.
And this is a couple of plays that Ricky Ray has managed to complete right in the face of his former teammate, 91 Aston Whiteside. Bearing down. He's had a couple that have gotten just past his fingertips.
It's another first down, Argos.
As you said, Rod, much more nickel and diming offensively here in the early going than we might have anticipated in a battle between these two football teams.
Well, two quarterbacks maybe nickel and diming, but they're operating at a very high percentage right now. Ray's 10 of 11. Trevor Harris is 8 for 8. Shaw bursting outside, trying to find the edge, and he does. The cutback got him a first down.
Well, Kenny Shaw is a guy who's been with the Argos since last season. Really had the door open for him this year, with Deontay Spencer opening the season on the injured list. Kevin Elliott also going down early. So Shaw getting plenty of looks here through the first few weeks of 2016.
Penalty flags. This one doesn't get off.
Offside. Ottawa, number 20, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that change in down and distance going to a 1st and 5 leads the Argos. Get a bigger unit in the ball game, both fullbacks, Declan Cross, Alex Dupuis checking in double tight formation.
Play action though, Ray. Over the top, what a catch. Vidal Hazelton lays out. 18-yard pickup.
Well, Hazelton with a little room to work here. See one-on-one against Rose coming off that corner, and essentially an entire half of the field in which to get open.
Sweet for Hazelton. Former Cincinnati Bearcat. Argos driving this ball again. Here's the rush. There goes Ricky Ray. And he lunges forward. And here we'll have a first down. Don't see it too often from Ricky Ray, but when he has that opening, he takes it.
Yeah, certainly a guy who's picked his spots in that regard over the course of his career. He had a couple crossing routes in front of him, but as that pocket closed down, had an opportunity to pick up just as many yards, tucking it and running, not taking the risk of throwing it to those receivers who are at similar depth.
Marcus Brady, former CFL quarterback, offensive coordinator, calling the plays for Ray. Look out now, trouble. And he one-hops it.
And Rod, you've seen on those last 2 plays the decision-making of a veteran quarterback. Ricky Ray, obviously a guy who takes some pride in his completion percentage, but recognizing that time that the best play is a throwaway in that situation. And obviously the previous one, not a guy who's a noted runner or scrambler, but when that's what it requires to pick up a first down, then that's what he's going to do. There you see Ottawa defensive coordinator Mark Nelson, guy who's been around this league a long time.
Ricky Ray looking, loads of time, now throws, and no call at the goal line. Whitaker wanted it. Jonathan Rose blanketing him. Ricky Ray had some room to roam there if he wanted it. And Brandon Whitaker asking for that challenge flag to be thrown.
Yeah, Whitaker pretty confident. He's the guy out to the left side of your screen. You see Rose picks him up, and Whitaker claiming right away that the jersey was pulled. Definitely see Rose's left hand come across on the jersey. See if we can pick up that grab, but Brandon Whitaker was very emphatic.
Toronto is challenging the ruling on the field. They believe a defensive pass interference occurred on their number 3. The play will be reviewed.
Andre Proulx, our referee tonight. Command has it right now. They'll look at it. We'll have a decision when we come back.
Peaks here in that meeting between Whitaker and Rose. Watch the left hand. There's just that slight little tug by Rose with the left hand. This will be your best look as Whitaker starts to dive. There you can see that left shoulder get tugged by Rose.
Here's the verdict.
After review, there was defensive pass interference. Ottawa number 34. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. First down, Toronto.
So another penalty assisted drive here for the Argos. Back-to-back 10-play-plus drives for Ricky Ray.
And it's something that's hard to do in today's Canadian Football League. Put together those extended drives without getting a big play somewhere along the way.
So back on the goal line, a chance to go up 2 touchdowns here early in the second quarter. Whitaker's in the backfield. Jardo's the quarterback again. He will go forward. and grab his first CFL touchdown.
Fajardo with the TD. We'll give a little assist to Brandon Whitaker for convincing his head coach to throw that challenge flag that set them up at the 1 yard line.
Fajardo out of the University of Nevada in his first year in the CFL. Souvenir for him. Hairolahu. Boots that wide. Took a while for the decision. And Hairolahu is looking back and saying, hey, that went through. We shall see. 13-0. Boatman sailing right now. Plunges into the end zone to finish off another clock-chewing drive. Lirim Hairolahu probably not as happy, but let's take a look at this point after from 32 yards out.
Yeah, ruled wide on the field. They seem to be standing by that call. From that angle, it looks pretty good. But again, always hard to tell what the depth of the ball is relative to the goalposts at the time when it appears to be between them.
Again, Hairolahu and the Argos will play against the wind as Tristan Jackson's back in the game. That's good news for the Red Blacks. A red-black team, Dwayne, that came in on such a roll. Chris Williams, incredible roll right now. Off the charts in terms of his pace early in the season. Most receiving yards after 3 games ever.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable start for him, as you see, basically halfway to a 1,000-yard season. He's 1/6 of the way in 3 games played thus far.
25 catches coming in. There's Ellingson, quick hitter. Makes a couple miss, and that's what Greg Ellingson is doing. And he could be gone. Ellingson down to the 30, the 20, and he's finally caught. Greg Ellingson just makes plays.
Well, we talked about this during the game last week, where Greg Ellingson, you know, a guy who's always been noted for his hands, noted for his ability to make the big catch, the difficult catch. Not necessarily known as a great after the catch guy, but it seemed like last week he demonstrated that element. And obviously this one goes at the top of the highlight reel in that category. Great job breaking some tackles, making some people miss. Turning on the Jets for a huge game.
Harris now flushed and takes a hit. Gets up, he's okay. Brandon Isaac. Trevor Harris. 10 for 10 right now, including that pass and run by Ellingson.
Well, normally that'd be something we'd be raving about as a start for a quarterback, but
we're used to that.
Yeah, I mean, this just seems to be what Trevor Harris does right now.
2nd down and 7. Harris now, there goes the pocket once more. There is a penalty flag down near the 5-yard line. In and around illegal contact. Harris slow to get up. Keep in mind, this is a team still without Henry Burris, of course, and that's why Trevor Harris is in the starting role. Harris.
Illegal contact on receiver. Toronto number 23. Half the distance. Automatic first down.
TJ Heath penalized.
Yeah, you'll see as Ernest Jackson releases towards Heath. The contact continues past 5 yards. They are about 10 yards down the field as he's got hands on the receiver.
So 1st and goal. Handoff Grigsby. Touchdown, Nick Grigsby. His first as an Ottawa Red Black.
And courtesy of a big play from Greg Ellingson, a quick answer there for the Ottawa Red Blacks after going down by 2 scores.
Grigsby, who scored in this league, of course, in Winnipeg, in Hamilton. A little shake at the line into the end zone, and then some handshakes all around. Very muted celebration. It's like he's been there before.
Well, there's that element of redemption, as that's the territory where he lost that ball last week. Nice to get that one in under his belt.
Chris Milo boots it through. So the Ottawa REDBLACKS have a Argonaut-like drive. Penalty helped. Trevor Harris doing everything he can. And the great Grigsby finds the house. But a few weeks ago when he stole the car, that's what he's been doing lately.
Yeah, I think he likes this a little better. Nice job on the left side of that offensive line. Double team, great job up to second level by the left tackle. Sir Vincent Rogers helping out his guard, Jermichael Dean, on the double team and getting to the linebacker, Brandon Isaac.
Selling cars down in the Kia dealership and was doing quite well. Top salesman down there got the call. Larry Taylor now. Shake one way and the other up to the 15-yard line. But the REDBLACKS came calling and Grigsby answered. And now he finds the end zone. And so right now the Argos with a 6-point lead. 6.5 to go before halftime here at BMO Field in Toronto tonight.
Ricky Ray looking to lead the Argos back with an answer. You see Ray completing 80% of his passes as well. No slouch. Not the perfect night Trevor Harris is having.
You'd expect high percentages though from these two quarterbacks. Ray again. Little curl pattern for Hazelton as another grab. Just pinpoint from Ray.
And Hazelton, lone receiver out to that side, continuing to work that matchup with Jonathan Rose. Incredibly talented second-year receiver.
Five for 55 for Vidal Hazelton. Oh boy. Antoine Pruneau batted that down and almost batted it right back into his own mitts. That could have been a 6.
You're going to see Pruneau come off the edge. Brandon Whitaker steps up to block him, but Pruneau has the presence of mind to get his hands up as he sees Ricky Ray set to throw. Big play for this guy, third-year CFLer. Number 5 overall pick in 2014.
From Montreal Caravan. High snap, look out. Ricky Ray can't get it, Ottawa gets it. That play was slow getting off. And Arnaud Gascon-Nadon is on top of the football. But let's see what happened here. There were a number of players that went offside. The ball went way over Ricky Ray's head. Scott Milanovich saying offside. But there was no whistle at that point.
Procedure. Toronto, number 62, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So that's on the center, Greg Van Roten. We'll see if there's a little twitch of the ball before the snap here.
Tomaso Munoz in there and Aston Whiteside, but Arnaud Gascon-Nadon. But it will be Toronto ball still. And Andre Proulx sorting it out for us.
Prior to ball being snapped, illegal procedure on Toronto. This is a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat, second down.
Yeah, lots of movement before that ball was snapped. So the Argos hang on to it, but it's 2nd and 15. Ray now throws, he's hit. Got it up to the original line of scrimmage for Wallace Miles. but the Argos will have to kick it away.
Opportunity with Toronto kicking against the wind here for Ottawa to start this drive. Very good field position.
Iralahu. Ball bounces backwards on Tristan Jackson. Tries to get through that pile up near the 15-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline. Special guest is with Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, Rod. I'm sitting beside 2011 Indy 500 pole winner and successful NASCAR driver Alex Tagliani. I want to ask you about the Pinty's race this weekend, but first, I want to ask you about your connection to Ricky Ray during his time in Edmonton.
I was actually a fan before he came to Toronto. I had the car number 15. The color of the car were similar to the Edmonton Eskimos, and I did an event at the stadium down there before a race. So I met him, and I have a helmet, and I think he's quite calm. You know, he's a veteran in the league, and you know, he plays quite good right now.
The one thing that many people don't appreciate, maybe that drivers do, that offensive linemen and football players go through, is the impact. Can you do you appreciate what these guys are going through and the impact that they got to do as a race car driver, the G-forces you take?
Well, the constant G-force in the corner is very different than a violent impact. So these guys are going through that on every snap of the ball. We're going through that only when we crash. So, you know, our goal is not to crash. These guys hit each other quite hard. So, you know, kudos, and I need to take my hat up to those guys. Honestly, I would not want to hit that hard.
You've already won this weekend in the NASCAR series. You've already won the season. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
There's a great guy, Alex Tagliani, who will be busy around these parts. Big weekend here in Toronto. Indy race, NASCAR race going on. Trevor Harris 10 for 10, and Grigsby brought down by Brandon Isaac. I think both Trevor Harris and Ricky Ray would make great race car drivers because they are cool. They just couldn't fit in those cars.
As you saw, not necessarily Alex Tagliani, not necessarily the biggest guy.
Most of them are not. Both of these quarterbacks tonight operating at high speed. There's the first incomplete pass. Ellingston can't get it. So getting close to the 3-minute warning. Toronto's going to get the football back here.
What a welcome back moment for Jefferson, who of course started as Toronto's boundary corner throughout last season. Injured during training camp this year, so he makes his first start of 2016. Right there, looking to be in mid-season form.
Matt Medeiros bounces one down the sideline. And that is the final play before the 3-minute warning. They'll signal that to the sidelines. Argos tonight leading the Ottawa REDBLACKS 13-7.
Set for more conversation about this game when they hit the dressing room. We'll have the GMC playbook as well. Nice view from the corner. Rod Black, Dwayne Ford. We'll send it back upstairs.
Oh, yeah, good down there. They can send you food, send you whatever you like. Rod Smith and the guys, good to have you in the house tonight. Brandon Whitaker, right side. What is turning out to be a beautiful night for football now that temperature's gone down a little bit. It was a furnace early on.
Yeah,
Wind subsiding.
This is a night that needed to cool off.
Big time.
I believe the hottest night of the year thus far.
Second down, 6. Ray now. And trying to thread one in there for Kenny Shaw, but another 2 and out for the Argos. So after all those long drives that we had from both sides, now the defense is settling in. Abdul Kanay all over Kenny Shaw.
It's tough to go 10 straight plays offensively with much frequency in today's CFL.
We do have a challenge flag, though, Dwayne. And Scott Milanovich is going to challenge DPI here, defensive pass interference.
Take a look. Play will be out to the right side of your screen.
Toronto is challenging the ruling in the field of an incomplete pass. They believe a defensive pass interference occurred on their number 8 receiver. The play will be reviewed.
They're seeing it in slow motion. It looks like there is some contact a split second before the ball arrived. And I know this has been a conversation going on over the course of a couple of weeks for us, particularly stemming from last week's Hamilton-Winnipeg game.
It was almost his body on the back of Kenny Shaw.
That is where the contact is initiated. From a Toronto perspective, the argument would be that he's trying to come through the receiver to get to the ball and making that contact just a split second again before the ball arrived. And it's splitting hairs, and believe me, I do not envy defensive backs in the CFL with the current standard for defensive pass interference.
We've seen a number of successful challenges already this early season, and again the expanded video replay rules that have come into effect. High percentage of overturns as well. We've seen more of that. Penalties, by the way, are down through our first 3 weeks. But I'll tell you what is up. Yellow challenge flags. Seen a lot more of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, some more opportunities for coaches to challenge this year. Offensive pass interference, illegal contact, among those things added to the mix.
And this with the replay officials and CFL command. This one a little longer than usual, and looked like it was very close.
After review, there is no pass interference on the play. Toronto will be charged a timeout.
Well, you saw how Scott Milanovich felt about that, but
yeah, I like the non-call in that situation. Again, pass interference, whether you want to slow it down or not, in terms of replays, it's always going to be a judgment call, and this is where it's a tough one for me. But
oh, there's a bad kick. Jackson picks it up and is swarmed. He does get some positive yardage with 2:15 to go before halftime. Well, Sundays on HBO just got even better. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, unlike Dwayne "The Boulder" Ford, wheels and deals in Ballers. And Danny McBride, formerly Kenny Powers, stars in the new comedy Vice Principals. It all starts Sunday at 10, only on HBO. I still can't believe you have not seen Ballers yet. You are a baller.
Haven't watched yet, but I'll put it on the viewing list.
It is must see. Must
do a
see.
little binge watching.
Harris swinging it out to Williams. Looked like that might have been behind him. So 2 minutes to work with here for Trevor Harris. Coming back to Toronto. He filled in so admirably for Ricky Ray when Ray was out with injury. Think about the Argos the last couple of years with Ricky Ray and the quarterbacks that they've had to gift off to other teams because they've been so good. Zach Collaros down to Hamilton. Trevor Harris over to Ottawa.
And the job that Scott Milanovich and his staff have done in developing quarterbacks. They coach with such precision and such detail.
Tight spiral again over to Williams. Talked about the yardage that Williams was racking up. Also the catches that He had made 25 through the first 3 weeks. On pace for 150 if that kept up. All-time record. Daryl Mitchell, 160 in 1998. And all these are, of course, extrapolations and projections, but you never know. You just never know, and it is early. The way Williams has been making it look so easy. So does this guy, Ellingson. What a move on the far side on Thomas Miles. Another big gainer as the Red Blacks move closer into Argo territory.
And again, you're reminded, as we've seen stretches, Greg Ellingson being busy in this football game. Ernest Jackson had a series with a couple of catches where he was the go-to guy. We, of course, know Brad Sinopoli, always an important part of this offense. And this, combined with, as Jock mentioned, the fact that Chris Williams lines up so frequently at wideout, makes it tough to give him extra attention.
Pump and go, but Harris goes, and Trevor Harris goes down. And it looks like it will just be spotted short of a first down. In fact, a couple yards short. Did have Chris Williams on the sideline there, opted to take off with it.
Yeah, Williams had a guy spying him. Everything downfield was blanketed by the Argo secondary. So a good decision by Harris to tuck and run.
2nd and 1, handoff Grigsby. Scored the touchdown for the Red Blacks. All the scoring so far in this first half done in and around the goal line. Anthony Coombs also scoring for Toronto. Cody Fajardo, 3rd string quarterback, plunging in for the Argos as well. 1st and 10, Red Blacks. Another swing out, pitch screen over to Ellingson. Might get 1 or 2 here. It's going to be a throwing down again. Clock down to 44 before the half.
Very efficient drive put together here by Trevor Harris and his Ottawa Red Blacks.
Team that came in 40, averaging 520 yards per game offense. Ridiculous number through 3 weeks. Here's the blitz. There's the ball. Oh, what a catch.
Great effort by Jake Hardy to stay with that one.
Little juggling act from Jake Hardy, the former Calgary Dino. And it looks like on 3rd down, they're going to be about 4 yards short.
Nice effort to fully extend there.
So Chris Milo time. 31 yards for Milo. 8 of 11 on the season. 55-yarder. Buzzer beater to tie in the opener in Edmonton. Red Blacks won in overtime. He buries it on the final play of the first half. Back and forth they go. A lot of long drives. Defenses tighten the screws. 13-10 Toronto. After 2 quarters at BMO Field tonight, Wednesday night football, and the panel is in the house. Rod Smith, take it away.
All right, thank you, Rod. So good late charge by Trevor Harris, and the Ottawa Red Blacks has them within 3 points at the half, and good numbers for Harris too. He just keeps it going. 15 of 16 for 176 for him, and not a bad half for his counterpart and former mentor, if you will, Ricky Ray of the Argos as well. Back with Jock Climbing, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stegall. Well, we've talked a lot about Harris, and rightfully so. He does keep it going. What about Ricky Ray? It looks a lot better than the last time they played here.
Yeah, you know, it's fun to sort of track the evolution of a veteran quarterback. I mean, normally we're doing that for younger quarterbacks, but I was just so perplexed at the play of Ricky Ray when we were here week 1, and he played so badly. But of course, he hadn't had a lot of snaps in preseason. Let me me tell you what I see in the big difference in his game today as compared to the beginning of the season. That's his ability to go through his progressions. It was just like in week 1, if his first receiver wasn't open, he dumped it down to his running back whether he was open or not. In this game, his eyes are downfield all the time. He's finding his receivers, not just his first or second read. He is going through his entire progression. And when he does dump it down, it's because the guy is wide open and is able to get yards after the catch. This is the big difference, and this is why Toronto is up and I think are in good position to win this football game.
That's why I think they made the right move by staying with Ricky Ray and their organization. And we're talking about Chris Williams and his speed, Jock, at the beginning of the show. And I got a couple examples of how he creates opportunities for himself. This is Chris Williams all by himself, just making things happen underneath, giving them different ways to get the football. And then here, they go zone coverage. He's got 41 yards from that opposite hash to the boundary, and they stay in zone coverage and enables them to run a play the other way and create numbers for themselves. Chris Williams absolutely, with his speed alone, is dictating the course of the game and the way the offensive game plan can be called and the way defenses are trying to defend his speed.
Well, a big reason for these Argonauts being up has to be their defense. Their defensive play has been great. They've been getting after the quarterback. They had the back-to-back sacks. They gave up the big play to Ellison later on in that half. They gave up some play. But if they keep playing the way they're playing, their offense comes up a little bit more. These Toronto Argonauts have a great chance of winning this game.
Well, you look at both Argonaut touchdowns set up by a lot of penalties against the Ottawa REDBLACKS. When we come back, we're going to talk about defensive pass interference. Have a little debate about that. Brandon Whitaker, after a couple Ottawa penalties, led to that touchdown. Cody Fajardo with the other one. 3-point lead here in Toronto in the CFL on TSN.
Rate 14 of 18, but neither quarterback has thrown the ball deep yet, and neither quarterback has turned the ball over. Look for those two to determine the outcome of this football game.
And here is the veteran Ricky Ray now with Matthew Schnetti.
Ricky, you're up by 3. How do you evaluate Ottawa's defense?
Yeah, I mean, we were able to make some plays. Got fortunate on some penalties there. We just got to execute a little bit better. We've left a few plays out there.
I know you talked about it yesterday and you're in game mode now, but what does it mean to keep going up on that yardage list?
Yeah, I mean, it's just playing the game right now. I've been lucky to be in this league a long time and playing a lot of games, and this is what it's all about, being out there playing and trying to complete passes. So, I don't really think about it while I'm playing, though.
Appreciate that, Ricky. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ricky Ray and the Argos had an early lead, 13-0. Fidel Hazelton, 4 catches for Toronto, but Trevor Harris and the REDBLACKS came back. Greg Ellington, 69 yards. Grigsby into the end zone, 13-10. Second half coming up.
The CN Tower down near the lake shore. Argos lead right now. Former Argo quarterback Trevor Harris, 15 of 16 right now, over 170 yards. He's with Matthew Schnetti.
What did you unpack from Rich Stubler's defense in that first half?
They're just making us be patient, and that's what we got to continue to do, is be patient, take what they give us, and they just don't want to give up shots, and so we just got to remain patient and do what we do.
Is that what you see? I mean, you're very efficient right now, but how important is finding that deep shot going to be?
Oh, it'll come. We just gotta stay patient, keep grinding, hand to the plow, and do what this system does, and it'll end up working out.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, there are the deep shots that will be taken inevitably here at some point tonight, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at both these two teams and the arsenal of receivers they have, it seems somewhat inevitable. Although that short passing game, the high percentage game, being played very effectively by these two quarterbacks. You look at those numbers. Combined 29 of 34 through a half of football.
There's something we don't see too often this season, though. Beside touchdowns, zeros on the board, because we've seen plunges from near the goal line so far. Big drives, they've been the story. Argos kick into the wind here in the third. REDBLACKS have the wind. Christian Jackson rumbling up near the 32-yard line, and Mr. High Percentage brings out his offense once more.
Trevor Harris, 15 of 16 through the opening 30. You heard him talk about the need for patience against a Rich Stubler defense, and the likelihood that people will eventually lose their patience and gamble on a shot. is one of the big things that Rich Stubler banks on in terms of his philosophy.
How about that offense? Comes right on the field, goes right to scrimmage, no huddle. And a crossing pattern. Chris Williams incomplete. Now Rich Stubler comes back to Toronto. He was a head coach at one time. Renowned as basically a defensive genius in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the godfather, the dean of defensive coordinators in this league, a guy whose services are constantly in demand. He's moved around a little bit in the last few years, but it hasn't been due to a lack of success, that's for sure.
Four-man rush. Harris goes deep. He's got him. He's got Greg Ellingson, who cuts back, spins now. What a move by Ellingson. Down to the 5, down to the 2. What a play. There's your shot. Greg Ellingson. We've gotten used to this stuff, have we not?
An absolute monster play. Fantastic throw by Trevor Harris. We talked about it earlier. He's been overshadowed by Chris Williams' great start, but Greg Ellingson has been fantastic the last couple weeks. As the Red Blacks punch it in, there's a flag down.
There's a signal and a flag down. Harris in the end zone. Ellingson, of course, if you haven't watched it last year.
Offside. Defensive line of Toronto. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a touchdown.
So Trevor Harris puts it in the house after throwing the 77-yarder to Greg Ellingson for the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Ellingson is the guy who's come up with the two biggest plays in this football game. One on a short catch where he made some people miss and turned it into a huge gain. And that time on the bomb from Trevor Harris. So here he is, minute into the second half, over 100 yards for him in this ball game.
Ellingson, who had the miracle touchdown last year from Henry Burris to get them to the Grey Cup game. Trevor Harris punches it home. Red Blacks have their first lead. First, as a member of the Red Blacks, the touchdown was impressive. The throw was more impressive.
Well, and Trevor Harris looking prophetic based on his halftime interview with Matthew Shinetti, in which he said, oh yeah, the deep shots will be there, we just need to be patient. Well, I don't know about the patient part, but the deep shot was definitely there.
Patience is a virtue, young man. Well, it's only a minute, and they go after it, and the kill shot almost to the house, but they still score, and so the Red Blacks have a 4-point lead, their first lead of this ball game. Here's Larry Taylor trying to burst it outside. He'll step out of bounds up near the 25-yard line. Shout out to his sister. Happy birthday from Greg Ellingson. Look at those numbers. 176 yards, and he's not done yet. He's having a Chris Williams night.
Well, he sure is. And again, we keep saying it, but this is the thing about the Ottawa Red Blacks. Chris Williams is the guy who tore it up in the first 3 games. It could be any one of their other receivers in any given 3-game stretch.
So now Ricky Ray trying to answer. Quiet BMO Field right now. Anthony Coombs, what a nice cutback there. There was a penalty on the play. 35-yard line.
Holding Toronto, number 88, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So they'll bring that back.
First and 20 Argonauts from their 50. Philip Bates, one of the other receivers out forming the convoy for Anthony Coombs on that hitch screen, flag for the hold.
Torrey Gurley and Wallace Miles are the wideouts. Ray looked one way, now the other. Whitaker on 1st and 20. Barely gets to the initial line of scrimmage. So another throwing down here for Ricky Ray, trying to match his former understudy now.
Well, Ray's patience may last a little longer than did Trevor Harris's. Certainly not necessarily the same propensity to attack via the long ball.
Ray now chucks it out. Whitaker steps out of bounds. They mark him out near the 34. First down markers near the 35.
Well, stopped just short of the first down, but you see the versatility of Anthony Coombs, a guy who's played running back most of his life. So it's kind of like he and Brandon Whitaker can switch roles in that backfield. Whitaker releasing, Coombs becoming the running back. He's the guy being asked to pick up the blitz in that instance.
Good boot. Wind starting to subside here tonight. Tristan Jackson tried the high hurdle. That didn't work. 49-yard kick. 17-13. Trevor Harris set up shop once again. What a night he's having. That's getting redundant in the early season. Wednesday night football from Toronto will continue. Register now at tsn.ca/CFL Fantasy for your chance to win a weekly Moores gift card or the grand prize, a Joseph Aboud wardrobe and a trip for two to the Grey Cup. Ricky Ray watching again. Trevor Harris, after going deep to Greg Ellingson, scoring early. REDBLACKS with the lead. Brad Sinopoli. Well, you know that Trevor Harris has a lot of respect, of course, for Ricky Ray. What was his favorite Ricky Ray moment?
The thing that really sticks out to me is the 2012 Grey Cup. I think we had just punted the ball to the other team, and there was like 22 seconds left. And I shook him. I was like, dude, we're going to win the Grey Cup. And he just kind of like lets me shake him. He's like, we're supposed to win Grey Cups. That's all he said. And I was just like, man, this dude is like, he's like ready for more.
That sense of calm has always been the dominant trait that people have seen in Ricky Ray. And at times he's been criticized for it.
He's the
People want him to be a more emotional, more fiery leader. But you can't really argue with the career success that he's had.
There goes Grigsby left side. Penalty flag though, this could be coming back. Even keel is the best way to describe Ricky Ray.
Yeah, no question. That's a big part for any QB.
Number 63, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
We have seen those sparks of emotion from him in the past, but they're nowhere near what other players might go through. That's one of the reasons that he's become one of the greatest. Trevor Harris learned a lot. Changes the play here. 1st and 20, will just get it off. Flushed out, down he goes. Toronto Argonauts. Ken Bishop has his second sack as an Argo.
And the Argos going with that three-man front, the former NFLer Ken Bishop in at D tackle. Again, it's one of those that'll drive a head coach and an offensive coordinator a little bit nuts when you're getting sacked by a three-man rush.
Stubler likes it. Three-man rush again. Dumping it off. Thomas Miles was all over Keenan LaFrance out of the backfield. I don't know how he was able to catch that.
Yeah, picking on his former college teammate there. Get a couple more University of Manitoba buys and grads on either side of that play. You see the challenge for Trevor Harris and the Ottawa offense is if Toronto is able to get pressure with just 3, you've got 9 guys dropping. They're blanketing the Ottawa receivers in coverage. It's hard for him to find someone open.
Medeiros' kick. Almost blocked. Now turning it on outside is Taylor. Penalty flag right at the midfield stripe, and another that came after that. Talked about the Mutual Admiration Society between Trevor Harris and Ricky Ray, who says that Trevor learned a lot while he watched and learned as a backup.
I went through some similar stuff, early in my career, with Jason Moss, kind of back and forth on who's playing and not playing, and we had a few conversations about that, and I told him just kind of, you know, what got me through those times was, you know, you just prepare yourself and worry about what you're doing. That's kind of the mindset that he had. He still prepared hard, and you know, now he's in a spot where kind of similar. You know, he took over for an injured Henry early in the season, and you know, he was ready to go.
For Trevor Harris, he's obviously made the most of the opportunities he's had, first in Toronto, now here in Ottawa.
I love what Ricky Ray said, though. You know, you really have to come up, if you're coming from the States, and you have to be a human sponge. And you have to learn. There's Henry Burris, a guy who's done it all as well and climbing the ladder of all-time greats.
Well, another guy who had to wait his turn behind some pretty good quarterbacks.
Wait for your moment. Brandon Whitaker. For those of you watching on ESPN tonight, may not know a whole lot about the Canadian football game, but there have been a lot of high-profile college quarterbacks who have come north of the border and haven't been able to get their sniff, their shot, and haven't been able to excel.
Yeah, it's a unique game, and you hit the nail on the head, Rod. I mean, you've got to be a student of the game to learn and understand some of the nuances, and you've got to be patient. And I think that's the thing that's held some guys back, or has been their undoing.
There's a big rush now. Ray unleashes. Oh, what a nice grab up near the 50. And that is Wallace Miles, Atlanta, Georgia native.
Wallace Miles, another guy getting an opportunity because of those injuries in the Argo receiving corps. Member of the Ottawa REDBLACKS in their inaugural season. Selected from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the expansion draft.
Ray now, long toss, near side for Andre Dury, his second catch of the night. Basically, the line of scrimmage. As much as Ricky Ray, though, talks about, you know, the patience that he had behind Jason Moss, things accelerated pretty quickly for Ricky Ray, mind you.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Ray was a guy who was starting in the Grey Cup in his rookie season back in 2002. Ricky Ray is really, quite frankly, the anomaly when you talk about quarterbacks in the CFL in terms of how much he played and how successful he was in his first year. I mean, typically with quarterbacks, you're looking at least a 3-year development curve to turn a guy into a starter.
Flags everywhere. Play does not get off. We had movement on the line midway through this third quarter in a 4-point ball game tonight.
Procedure. Toronto 54-59, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Both tackles. Chris Van Zyl, Josh Burke. Flagged on the play.
This big Josh Burke, left side of your screen. What a get for the Argos this year. Just simply one of the best this game has seen.
Yeah, it certainly is. Long-time Montreal Alouette, perennial all-star in this league.
Ray, patience again. Kenny Shaw again. We'll see where the spot is. Had to get to the 50.5. Looks like they're going to mark this shy of the first down by a yard. They're going to bring out the big men now, the jumbo guys. They're going to go after this. They have to get inside the 51-yard line of Ottawa. Cody Fajardo in again, gets everybody in motion. He's going to take it himself, and he's going to get the first down. And sometimes as a quarterback, you come to Canada, and this is the stuff you got to do.
Yeah, you get your feet wet by being the short yardage guy, maybe holding on field goals and extra points.
And you never know, your time to start throwing the ball may come. Fajardo had his first touchdown earlier tonight.
You've got to earn your stripes.
So the Argos go 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 50. Trailing 17-13, another penalty.
Yeah, this should be a freebie for the Argos. It looked like Abdul Kanay jumped a little bit early trying to time that halfback blitz.
Once again on the far side for Wallace Miles.
Offside. Ottawa number 14. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Ricky Ray's throwing a lot of those long side out shots here tonight, including that one to Miles. Here's the play, and there was Kanay jumping.
First and 5 Argos from the Ottawa 45-yard line.
Hasn't really taken a deep shot yet tonight. It's been really nickel and diming, long drives. This one over 4 minutes, 8th play of the drive. Keep it on the turf. First and 5, Brandon Whitaker will get a fresh set of downs.
There again, you see the cross motion with the slot back. Andre Dury, Toronto, a team that'll use the slot back sweep as well as hitting those motion guys out in the flats. But with that motion, they're able to hold the ends a little bit, keep the gaps spread out along that line of scrimmage. Great space for Brandon Whitaker to do his thing on the inside.
Ricky Ray puts Phil Bates in motion. And another here. Ray, though, decides to throw. It'll out-pattern Whitaker this spin. Good defensive play. And again, another play with another penalty flag.
Well, Connor Williams, Red Blacks defensive tackle. Got a shot on Ricky Ray just as he threw this football. Better be careful coming in high as he did on that one.
Once again, here's Andre Proulx tonight.
Illegal interference, blocking downfield prior to pass being caught. Toronto number 14, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Pleading his case is Wallace Miles, to no avail.
Pass is going to go to Whitaker in the flat. And behind him, Miles. Initial indication to me was that he was trying to avoid the defender, but
there's a deep ball. Kenny Shaw. And there's Ricky Ray's shot over the top. And the Argos take it down to the 15-yard line. 34-yarder.
Well, watch Ricky Ray set free safety. Jermaine Robinson is playing closer to the left hash. Ricky Ray didn't even have to look him off just by that alignment. Kenny Shaw had a little more space as long as he keeps it wide, doesn't drift towards the middle of the field. Well played in terms of the route.
High snap, Ray. Quick toss. Collision over on the far side. Once again, it's Miles. Half the first down yardage inside the red zone here.
There's the Argos offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady. Guy who knows Ricky Ray well. These guys played against each other in college, as well as earlier in their CFL careers. Brady, a former Toronto Argonaut and Montreal Alouette.
Ricky Ray, who played at Sacramento State, native of Happy Camp, California. 36-year-old. And the Argos take a timeout here. 2:29 to go for the expiration of the third quarter. This is our first game here, partner. What a great place.
Yeah, it really is. It's nice to have some atmosphere back.
Now, keep in mind, this is a tough night in Toronto. I mean, I can look and I can watch. Actually, Duran Duran's playing your favorite song right now, right across the way. You've got gridlock all the way around the stadium tonight because of the Indy race this weekend, and you've also had a very, very hot day.
Yeah, it certainly has been, but those in attendance.
Good party, though.
Yeah, making their presence felt. Again, it is a much better, much more vibrant environment in which to play football.
There's the rush. There's Ray. Corner route, and it's picked off by Antoine Pruneau. There is a penalty flag, though, on the far side, and this could be against Ottawa, and this could intercept the interception.
Illegal contact on receiver. Ottawa number 14. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
Abdul Kanay is the halfback. He's sitting at about 5 yards at the start of the play, so you can see as soon as he takes a step back, he is outside that legal area in which to bump the receiver.
Even though the play is to the other side of the field, and Rick Campbell is going to hold that challenge flag, and it's because he dropped one.
Challenging the ruling on the field of illegal contact on receiver. They believe the contact occurred within 5 yards. The play will be reviewed.
So command has this one. We'll check that. Pivotal point in the third quarter, that's for sure. 17-13. We'll step aside.
The scrimmage is the 11-yard line. So Abdul Kanay has it until about the 6-yard line, right around there, in which that's the area in which he can make contact. See where he gets on.
Well, he did have a grab after that.
Well, it definitely starts inside the 5, but I think continues beyond.
Well, we have our decision.
The ruling on the field of the legal contact on Ottawa number 14 is confirmed by replay. There was illegal contact.
Boy, what a costly penalty.
Distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That would have been a takeaway for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Instead, first and goal for the Argos, and another long drive. Penalty assisted, big play, that 34-yarder from Ray to Shaw. 13th play of the drive coming up here.
Now you look at the difference in terms of the drives. Toronto's the team that's had the long drives. Ottawa has scored their touchdowns courtesy of a couple big plays to set up short runs.
Ray, play action, touchdown Brandon Whitaker. The Argos go back on top. Costly penalty. REDBLACKS would have had an interception. Instead, Brandon Whitaker has his first touchdown of the season.
Yeah, Whitaker gets forgotten for a moment after that play action. Little delay as they had the cross motion going the other way with Wallace Miles. Damaso Munoz got on his horse but wasn't able to catch up to Whitaker before Ray could deliver that touchdown pass.
2-point game, Lirim Hajrullahu to make it 3. Kicking it out towards the lake. How about that drive, Dwayne?
13 plays, 81 yards, 7 minutes and 10 seconds chewed up on the clock.
That is crazy. What's not crazy is Ricky Ray doing it again. Brandon Whitaker scoring. 20-17 the score. Brandon Whitaker, former Baylor Bear.
You're going to see that motion. Whitaker off the run fake is going to continue out into the flat. But those two run fakes on the inside, first to Whitaker, then to Miles, just going to hold the linebackers just long enough to allow Brandon Whitaker to gain an advantage in terms of leverage. Ricky Ray drops in the easy flat route.
All right, let's go down to Matthew Shinetti with an update.
Now, guys, speculation is a horrible thing, but as everyone probably noticed, 81 Torrey Gurley has not been on the field for a lengthy period of time. He is on the sidelines holding his helmet. There is no obvious injury and no injury update for the Argos. This is not the first time that Gurley has been conspicuous in his absence. He was a few times last season, but there really is no indication on the sidelines of the Argos if he's unhealthy or why he's not playing.
All right, we shall find out. Get on it, Matthew. Tristan Jackson spinning on his feet. Remember last year, Dwayne, Torrey Gurley, though, figured prominently in a couple of the Argos victories. This is a Toronto team that gave up their first game ever to the Ottawa REDBLACKS in their first win at TD Place Stadium. And since that time, the Argos have beaten the REDBLACKS every single time. And Gurley last year was a star in a couple of those.
Yeah, they've found a way against Ottawa in the past. As you mentioned, Torrey Gurley, not just against Ottawa. I mean, this is a guy who made some big plays throughout last season.
He's a guy, though, that has kind of been in and out of the doghouse at times. So we'll see if it is an injury thing, if it is a personnel decision thing right now. There's penalty flags that fly, whistles blow on second and short. One thing for sure, Torrey Gurley helps change your offense when he's out there. Makes big plays.
Yeah, when you look at what's already missing.
Ottawa, number 64, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Look at what's already missing from this Toronto receiving corps. Kevin Elliott out with a shoulder injury. Deontay Spencer out with injury. Both those guys are on the 6th game. Chad Owens, of course, departed for Hamilton as a free agent.
Once again, Trevor Harris just drops it in the midst of Greg Ellingson. Little out pattern for a first down. 30 seconds to go, third quarter.
First and 10, Ottawa at their 38-yard line.
Well, Ellingson's having a big night. We have yet to hear from Brad Sinopoli in this one.
Yeah, just had one catch earlier. Grigsby squirms up for 3 or 4 yards. And talked about the car dealership. Nick Grigsby getting a call, be ready. This is a guy when he was in Winnipeg, when he was in Edmonton, Hamilton. Guy who did things. When he got the ball, made some big plays too.
Yeah, well, a guy that the Ottawa REDBLACKS were thrilled was available. And they had the early season injury issues at running back.
Good screen, far side for Ellingson. Plows his way to the first down marker. It will be a first down. The teams will now change sides. That's the final play of the third quarter. We could be in for a thriller in the fourth. Back and forth. Harris and Ray, duel tonight, the gunslingers. Former teammates, champions as well. Wednesday night football heads to the fourth at BMO Field on TSN. 2017 looking to pick up their first win in their new home against the visiting REDBLACKS. The numbers for both quarterbacks, as you would expect, as advertised. Trevor Harris versus Ricky Ray, Chapter 1, is as good as the marquee.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both quarterbacks have played very well. And one of the big parts, as you say, as expected, has been the high completion percentage from both of these guys. Not a lot of mistakes being made. Harris has been, I would say, a little bit more aggressive at times than Ricky Ray has been in this one, with Ottawa turning in a couple of big plays, particularly the strike to Ellingson that led to Trevor Harris's third quarter touchdown. But I look forward to watching the final 15 between these two good friends and former teammates.
Well, Trevor Harris has turned to hold serve here. We start the fourth. That wind that was blowing earlier, not blowing right now. Ellingson again. And with all the hype coming in and all the talk about Chris Williams, and obviously the Argos are also focusing on number 80, Greg Ellingson is having a monster night.
Yeah, Greg Ellingson just going over 200 yards. Now with 8 catches, 206 yards in this ball game. Guess Chris Williams has set the bar, and Greg Ellingson's trying to meet it.
Williams 5 for 37 out of the backfield. It's Grigsby. We're going to have a roughing the passer as Trevor Harris Got dusted in the backfield. He's back up, though. Argos came at him low.
Yeah, this wasn't the timing of the hit, but Sean Lemon was on his way down and hit Harris below the knees.
Passer, number 40, Toronto. 15-yard and forced from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
First and 10 on the ball. From the Argos 24-yard.
They go down to the 24-yard line. Lead is seesawed here in the second half. Grigsby again. Pounds the middle. Ricky Foley, one of those that wrapped him up. Veteran out of Curtis, Ontario.
Pretty good rotation of defensive ends for the Argos now, having started the season already with Foley and Hickman, two experienced guys, adding Sean Lemon to the mix after week 2.
Look at those guys. They're actually cozy over there. Red Blacks and Argos fans. 2nd and 6. Quick hitter. Ellingson once more. Ellingson slices down to the 10. And the Red Blacks are going to go first and goal.
Take a look at the latest addition to the Greg Ellingson show. Nice job by Sinopoli. I think that was Alex Brzezinski out there as well, setting the blocks on that hitch screen.
Long drive for the Red Blacks too, 10th play. First and goal. Looking to take the lead, and again, play's not getting off here, and we got some jawing going on. A couple of the big guys. Somebody just lost their lid. Actually, was the ref. Lost his cap.
Time count violation. Ottawa number 7. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
So it remains first and goal. Now from inside the 14. Let's Ernest Jackson in motion. Looking Chris Williams' way, and also for Jackson. Jackson down to the 5, and he slips on that far sideline. He's all right. Now 2nd and goal from the 5.
Ernest Jackson, the number 3 receiver in this set. He's got Ellingson and Williams pushing coverage deep, creating a little bit of space for him to go to work underneath.
Trevor Harris shouts something to Jackson. Grigsby in motion too. Empties the backfield. Here comes the blitz. There goes the ball. And into the goal line is Ellingson. They're saying it's complete. One official saying incomplete. And they're saying it is an incomplete pass, or are they? Fusion down there. It's going to be 3rd down. And the ball is going back to the 5-yard line. They're saying it's incomplete.
Well, we'll get a couple of looks at it right now.
Oh, I don't know.
And Ellingson was already down when he caught the ball. Loses it in the process of turning.
Campbell's looking at that score clock and thinking about that challenge flag, but he's going to put Milo out for a chip shot to tie things up. All square now. 20-20 in Toronto. We are professional grade. Week 4, Canadian Football League kicking off tonight. 4 straight nights of football. Gotta love it. Mid-July, summer sun getting in on us. Beautiful night for football and a close game, 20-20. Ricky Ray was able to get that off, otherwise he was going to be sacked. Torrey Latanzio in there.
Yeah, University of Ottawa product, originally a Winnipeg Blue Bomber draft choice. Joined this Ottawa team last year. Joining Zach Evans, Connor Williams in that D tackle rotation, 3 Canadians for the Red Blacks.
Here comes that blitz. Ray tossed down the sideline. Was looking for Hazelton on a go route, but that goes nowhere. So a very quick 2 and out for the Argos. We'll boot it back to the Red Blacks here. First time Ottawa has been undefeated through 3 games since 2004 when they were the Renegades and they started 3-0. This week they kind of felt that they should be 3-0 after that tie against Calgary. Hairolahu, end over ender. Jackson's going to scoop it up and kick it outside. Oh, Tristan Jackson takes 1 hit, and he's still on his feet. Tristan Jackson, he's taken off. Hairolahu, not going to catch him, he's going to score. What a run by Tristan Jackson. Oh my. He should have been stopped 4 times.
Yeah, it's been a little while for Tristan Jackson, but he made that one well worth the wait.
76 yards to pay dirt.
Well, let's see how many Argos got hands on him here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, and off to the races.
Nobody else. Tristan Jackson. 76-yard scamper. Only his 2nd game with the Ottawa Red Blacks. His first touchdown as a member of the Red Blacks. Game changer right now. 1, whoa, back and forth, and away he goes. Goodbye. 27-20, Ottawa. Run from Tristan Jackson, and a mighty good pickup for the Ottawa Red Blacks the last couple of weeks. Cast away in Saskatchewan. It's his first punt return touchdown in quite some time.
Yeah, last one, 2009. Remember the Edmonton Eskimos.
Still catching his breath, as are we. 7-point Ottawa lead. Now Larry Taylor, who can do it himself. Here's a guy who won the most outstanding special teams award a few years ago, Larry Taylor, back in 2009.
And here again, a look at the highlight reel return from Tristan Jackson. He's kind of disappeared into that crowd of blue jerseys and somehow popped out the other side. Last man that he had to beat, who had a shot at him, was actually the backup quarterback, Cody Fajardo, who plays as one of the deep backs, personal protectors on the Argos punt team.
Red Blacks have had some big plays here tonight. This game far from over, though. Kenny Shaw snares it. Still loads of time left.
What a great string of close games over these last 2 weeks in the Canadian Football League. 2 overtime games. Last week, the Winnipeg-Toronto game as well, essentially decided on the final possession. And this one looking like it's going to come right down to the wire as well.
2 teams, again, since Ottawa came back in the league, that notoriously have played close football. Whitaker, cut back, first down. Last time they met last October, the Argos won 38-35. Remember that night?
Remember a Chad
That was
Owens
the
catch.
flying Hawaiian, and remember who threw the football. Trevor Harris. Now Harris trying to haunt his old mates. Ricky Ray stepping up. Ray now. Looks like he wanted to kind of pitch it backwards there for a second.
Yeah, looking downfield, seeing no one there, but he knew Brandon Whitaker was behind him. He thought about it, but by then things were finally closing down on Ricky Ray. Did a nice job here to step up, buy himself a little bit of time, and again, and with the pursuit closing, nowhere to go.
Another key second down conversion. There's Harris, who hit Owens with that miracle grab in the end zone. Both he and Owens no longer Argos. Ray in trouble. Down he goes. Arnaud Gascon-Nadon with the sack. Second sack of the night for the Red Blacks. Second sack of the season for Arnaud Gascon-Nadon, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat.
Yeah, cheated down inside a little bit on this one with Munoz coming up on the outside. You see some confusion as he looped in. He's left unblocked on the play.
Well, Tristan Jackson is not back, but Chris Williams equally dangerous. Williams cutting back now. Swallowed up. Arnaud Gascon-Nadon just to play down the road. Knows Ricky Ray. Knows him a little better right now. 27-20 Red Blacks in Toronto.
Can a two
Four straight games now over 300 yards for Trevor Harris. Another night at the office. Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti right now.
Absolutely, Rod. Harris is still playing great, but the man behind me, Henry Burris, is on the mend. Yes, it's that pinky finger he injured in Edmonton. I spoke to him before the game. He says he's a week ahead of schedule. Remember, he's on the 6-game injured list. What he's trying to do right now is grip different sizes of Nerf footballs, because I'm sure Dwayne can explain to all of us that pinky finger is so important to quarterbacks. I looked at it. It is still very swollen on Henry Burris's right hand, guys.
Interesting bit of rehab there with the Nerf footballs. I suspect that that Hank's sons might be benefiting from that particular rehab.
Target practice.
A few extra games to catch with Dad that they may not normally get at this time of year.
6:50 to go here in Toronto tonight. Harris still chucking. Chris Williams has it. Makes one move and then ducks for cover into Toronto territory. Chris Williams has actually had what we might call an off night, which most players would call a pretty good night.
Yeah, Williams, you'll see the cushion he's given right on the right edge of your screen along that sideline. Again, often because of his speed, defensive backs are going to play off Chris Williams a little bit and give him some space, but the challenge in that comes when he actually catches the ball and you've got a guy who can accelerate remarkably quickly. And you're giving him room to work.
6 catches, 60+ yards for Chris Williams. I think he's just garnered a lot of attention as well tonight. Harris has looked his way a couple of times in double coverage or blanket coverage. Argo fans looking for a defensive response here. Harris only 3 incomplete passes. Remarkable. Steps up. Penalty flag far side. Brad Sinopoli down near the 32-yard line. Actually, penalties in the backfield and on the far sideline. So 2 flags here. So problem with the microphone for Andre. 23-yard pass. This is going against Ottawa, so this is all coming back here. Here he is.
Illegal block, hands to the face, Ottawa number 64, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
We'll take a look. 64 is the left guard, Michael Dean. If you caught right at the very end of that play. Got the hands up high on the defensive end.
Look at all the penalties the REDBLACKS have racked up here. Yet they still lead. Sinopoli out of the backfield. Still short of the initial line of scrimmage.
Tackle on the play by number 48, Thomas Miles. Third down.
A big punt coming up here for Zach Medeiros. Hoping to pin Toronto deep here, force them to put together another one of those long drives if they're going to even up this ball game.
Big boot by Medeiros.
Good placement.
Taylor picks his way, now trying to cut back and dives forward. Long field now for the Argos, down 7 with 4.5 to go at BMO.
Those tough on the field deserve a truck that's tough on the road. The 2016 GMC Sierra.
Well, Ricky Ray back at it here. And continuing his march up so many leaderboards, but he's one of those guys that doesn't really concern himself with numbers too much. As he said to Trevor Harris earlier, you know, we're supposed to win cups, and now Argos list all time, tied with Damon Allen. Only Conridge Holloway ahead of them. Ray settles in. Oh, almost picked off.
A great effort by Jonathan Rose to go up and get that one. Terrific athletic play, but unfortunately for him, unable to come down with the interception. But you'll see tremendous leap here. Get his feet planted, turn his body, climb the ladder. Just coming down empty-handed.
Ottawa team that had victory in their grasp against Calgary. Late in the game, in overtime. That looked like the Argos jumped way offside there.
Yeah, Vidal Hazelton got a head start on that one.
So a field just got longer.
Offside. Toronto, number 21, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
2nd and 15 now.
Long field gets longer.
Three-man rush. Ray from the goal line. And he's caught and brought down again by Gascon Nadon. There is a flag in the end zone, however.
Yeah, this could be a hold against the Argos. I think that matchup between Aston Whiteside and Josh Burke.
Number 59, penalties decline. It's going to be third down.
So a major field position shift here for the Argos, who are already down 7. Liram Hairola, who's going to have to kick this out of his end zone. Normally, sometimes in a position you would take the safety in the end zone this deep, but that makes it a 2-possession game.
Oh yeah, you pick your poison. You can either take the safety or you're punting to them, essentially setting Ottawa to be up very close to field goal position, but you have to kick it.
Tristan Jackson bobbles it, but great field position. 45-yard kick. And talked about Damon Allen. There he is. Guy who was once Pro Football's all-time passing leader and then surpassed, of course, by Anthony Calvillo, and now he comes to games and loves popcorn. We saw Damon last night. Always love bumping into him. He is a guy who just loves football, and football fans around the league love Damon Allen. A lot of jerseys here. A lot of cities have Damon Allen jerseys.
Well, they sure do, but only one of them, as you saw on the right shoulder, has that MVP 05 signature, and that's Toronto Argonauts.
You got
Grey
that.
Cup champion a year earlier in 04.
Keenan LaFrance, what he did here was remarkable. And talk about Henry Burris, and playing so well at 41. And Damon played, as we talked about so often. He said, "Tell everybody I'm a granddad." He played when he was a granddad, and his brother Marcus was in town last night. Pro Football Hall of Famer. There's DA. There's the 3-minute warning. 27-20 Ottawa in TO tonight. '81st Prince of Wales Stakes gets underway Tuesday, July 26th. Coverage 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific across the TSN network. Brought to you by OLG and Ontario Racing. Pretty good race here tonight. Argos and Red Blacks. Down to the wire we go. Inside 3 minutes. Argos defense needing some big stops here. Trevor Harris having none of that tonight. Another dish to the far side for Ernest Jackson. He's going to be held a couple yards short of the first down. What a release valve Ernest Jackson has become for this Ottawa Red Blacks offense.
Yeah, we see Ernest Jackson handling a lot of the short game for these Red Blacks.
So 3rd and 1. And right now, the Red Blacks have put Chris Milo out.
This, as we talked about, is the potential no-win situation of punting out of your own end zone in this spot. Do you give them 2 or do you risk giving them 3? At least with the 3, you're going to make them earn it. Long one here.
But it is off the post. He had enough. And it bounces out and nothing. And the Argos dodge a missile.
Yeah, I mean, the decision to punt out, again, they had to do it, so there wasn't much of a decision, but couldn't have worked out better for the Argos, as there's not even a single point that turns it into an 8-point game.
Chris Milo, last week, a guy who's become a dependable kicker for the Red Blacks, but last week he struggled. And that was another one of those.
Well, we probably said at that moment when he hit the goalpost that he couldn't do that again if he tried.
He did.
Did it again a week later.
Now the Argos trying to capitalize. Ray over the top. Right at the first down marker for Shaw. 2-minute offense now for Ricky Ray.
What a valuable guy Kenny Shaw has proven to be for the Argos early this season. Had a very good training camp. There was no hesitation for Scott Milanovich to get him into the lineup when there were injuries.
Here's the blitz. There goes a deep ball for Shaw. One-on-one. Oh, he had it. Antoine Pruneau with a great defensive effort.
Oh, they got man coverage. Again, Pruneau, the linebacker, will frequently line up on the number 3 receiver. Starting off, here they come, left to right on your screen. Essentially, he's got half the field to get open. You got an indication of the speed of Antoine Pruneau staying right in that hip pocket on Kenny Shaw, and waited until the ball arrived to stick his hand in there.
Vindication for him. He had an interception taken away by penalty. The blitz again. Ray can't avoid it. Down he goes. Damaso Munoz takes down Ricky Ray, and the Argos have to kick with 1:50 to go.
Munoz is coming around the horn. He's going to end up being the unblocked guy. Again, confusion on the twist. You saw the running back, Whitaker, and center Van Roten both went inside on that twist. Nobody bounced outside to pick up Munoz.
Tristan Jackson, who really changed the game with that punt return. Tackled near the 50. A minute 35 to go. The Argos have to force the Red Blacks into a quick 2-and-out.
And the Tristan Jackson touchdown, a reminder of the importance of special teams here in the Canadian Football League. 3-down football that literally becomes a third of the game. Now Trevor Harris looking to do what the Red Blacks couldn't a week ago. Close things out on their final possession.
Really keep it on the ground. That eats up a couple ticks.
It has been Keenan LaFrance at running back over the last few series for the Ottawa Red Blacks. I'm not sure if there's an injury issue with Nick Grigsby. He is standing on the sidelines. But I also wonder a little bit, even with the fumble late in the game for Grigsby, for a guy who didn't go through training camp, didn't play preseason, wonder conditioning-wise where Nick Grigsby would be at late in a game if that is factored into the decision at all here.
Harris will throw it down the sideline, has his man, and Ernest Jackson. What a play call by the Ottawa Red Blacks. And that might be a play that seals this game for Ottawa.
Ernest Jackson is going to sneak out to the sideline and essentially throttle down and wait. They flooded that area. Everybody thinks it's going to be the safe play on the hitch to Chris Williams. Both DBs on that side bite. Trevor Harris doesn't have to rifle it into a tight window. He's able to just loft it down there.
Toronto taking a timeout, or Toronto taking the timeout, trying to use the clock up here. A minute 5 to go. Red Blacks clearly content here to wind this clock down and maybe give Milo another chance to put it completely out of reach. But time's certainly the enemy for the Argos. Scott Milanovic see his team fall to 2-2 here. Big play night for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Yeah, and they've picked their spots perfectly. Trevor Harris said it, we have to be patient, but we know that those big plays will be there. And when the opportunities have presented themselves, they've made the most of it.
They'll keep it on the turf. As much as Trevor Harris is prone to throw the football, I think at this point probably they will like to keep it on the ground. Ottawa football fans in Toronto, some youngsters. They've got a good thing going in Ottawa these days. Red Blacks under a minute away here from remaining the CFL's only undefeated team. LaFrance. And a penalty flag and a first down. That will do it. 38 to go. Penalty flag looked like it came on the tackle.
May have been a hold downfield though. By an Ottawa.
It is.
Blocker.
Holding Ottawa number 18. Foul occurred prior to yards being gained. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay second down.
So not so fast. Second down now. Alex Perchelski.
Yeah, he's in as a tight end on the left side. Big receiver. Former star right here at the University of Toronto. That has more to do with hand position than anything else. Hands on the outside of the shoulder pads.
So that brings the clock down to 33. Should have put it in the books yet. Milo's coming out here. Argo's a chance. You never know. You could block this field goal. Milo putting one off that goalpost. That upright. In his previous kick. This one's going to come from the 30. And this would put away the Argos for sure. And the second half that went back and forth and really decided by a 75-yard punt return. Milo again. This time he's good. That will do it. There's redemption for Chris Milo. The Ottawa REDBLACKS head to Regina next week, trying to keep their unbeaten string alive. They'll go to 3-0-1.
Perfect operation there. Snap to hold to kick.
What a return to Toronto for Trevor Harris.
Yeah, very impressive, continuing his early season role at the helm of the REDBLACKS.
Time now for our Nissan Titan player of the game.
Surprise, it's not Chris Williams.
And it's not Trevor Harris.
But Greg Ellingson is an absolute monster for the Ottawa REDBLACKS tonight. 9 catches, 218 yards. Didn't score a touchdown, but set up a couple of them with those long plays. Greg Ellingson is tonight's Nissan Titan player of the game.
Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the CFL. REDBLACKS all smiles over there. Delicious irony for Trevor Harris. Last time these teams played, he was the winning quarterback, but he played for Toronto. This time, after a huge signing in Ottawa, he comes back to Toronto and is a winner for the REDBLACKS. 5 seconds to go. But this is just round 1 of Harris versus Ray.
It's going to be a long season. I expect it to be a pretty good battle in this East Division. Ricky Ray and the Argos look to settle into their groove.
What an amazing start, though, for Trevor Harris. Subbing in for Henry Burris, though he was hurt. Logan Kilgore in the game, backup quarterback, that's it. About 1 second to go. Ricky Ray put up some good numbers tonight. Harris just continued this ride, though, for the REDBLACKS.
Well, we talk in the game of football about contests often being decided by a handful of big plays. And as good as the Argos were at times tonight, Ottawa held the edge in terms of those big plays. We talked about the ones from Ellingson. Obviously, the punt return from Tristan Jackson looms largest.
Argos play to the final gun. They have a bye week, but the Ottawa REDBLACKS will hit back on the train, head home to the nation's capital, then head west. They are 3-0-1. Final tonight in Toronto. The REDBLACKS 30, the Argonauts 20. Big play night, lots of drives. Ricky Ray versus Trevor Harris. And in the end, Tristan Jackson taking one all the way to the house. Good night, everybody, from BMO Field as Week 4 continues in the CFL.